There's various places on the internet where you can learn how to do a round kick, where you can learn how to do an axe kick, a back kick, things of that nature. But what I haven't seen is an instructor or coach teaching you as an instructor or a coach what to do post tournament. And that means whether your athlete wins or whether your athlete loses, how do you take that footage that you gathered and analyze it to be able to come back to the lab on your next training session and make that athlete that much better for their next tournament? That's what we're going to show you how to do in this video. All right, so first up, you'll see that I have added everything to my desktop that I would need to analyze my video footage. And that is the video itself. That is my notes opened over here on the right-hand side. And then I even have the TKD Lab dashboard open in the background. Obviously, the video is open so I can view it. My notes open on the side so I can take notes in real time. And then the dashboard, I'll need that for later on after I analyze, the fights themselves to see, to add to a spreadsheet that I created that I'll talk about in just a little bit. So first up, you have one of my athletes that competed in a tournament as of taking this video is just yesterday. So I don't like to let things linger. I hop right in the next day, review some footage, write some stuff down. That way, during our next training session, which in this case would be on Tuesday, we're already back at it, right? We're already back in the lab working on the things that we need to work on. So if we go ahead and start this footage, and my athlete you'll see is in the blue there. And let me pause it just in case this is too loud for you all. But that lets me turn the sound all the way off. I don't want to turn the sound all the way off, but hopefully you guys can still hear me. And I'll pause in between to let you know what I see and tell you what I would annotate. So we're looking at my athlete who's in the blue. Competitor is in the red. You might even hear me say some things about the competitor in the red as well, but all in the effort to help my athlete in the blue when they come back for subsequent training sessions. So let's take a look here. So right off the bat, you see a couple of things, right? My athlete, eats a headshot, maybe a couple other body shots, but he's in junior safety rules, so some of that didn't go up on the board. And the problem with electronic sparring is or when we aren't using electronic sparring, is that what happens sometimes, right? Like you get some headshots, and not every corner ref is clicking in the corner whether they saw that headshot or not, so things might not get awarded properly, and that's fine. I always tell my, underbelts who are sparring using the regular Hogu and not electronic sparring that we want to make things as dominant as possible so we don't have those problems with corner, refs not seeing what they're supposed to see. But anyway, right off the bat, I noticed a few things at the beginning that I want to jot down. So right when the guy says go, if you notice, you gotta be very you gotta look very keenly at these videos to see what's going on, right? Watch when he says go, and my athlete does his first kick. We saw how that back arm spread a little bit. Let's see if we can see it with this big. See that spread on the arm right here when he does his kick? Can I move this down? No, it won't let me move it down. That lets me know that we have some issues, some fundamental issues with his guard, or what I like to call mechanics. Even when you're kicking, you need to be able to have your guard up because Taekwondo is a counter sport. That means while you're kicking, they're kicking as well, trying to exploit your weaknesses. So Here I will put something like back arm flinging. And my athletes know what that means. Back arm flinging. And then also what you notice in the video, playing in more. Watch how my athlete is like backing up a lot. See, he's backing up. Ryan's going forward again, but we comes forward, back up, and then that's where the headshot comes in. So the problem with that is that when someone is coming forward at you and you're not, it's okay to shuffle or move backward tactfully, but what you don't want to do is keep going backwards. And the reason why is because things like that happen, right? You get hit in the head. When you go backwards, you actually create space for your opponent to put their technique within that space. So what you want to do is actually suck up space, right? You want to put chest to chest. And when your chest is on their chest, you actually want to apply what we call in the lab forward pressure. And that forward pressure stops them from lifting up their leg because when they do, they'll be driven backwards and they'll be unstable. And the natural human response is to put that foot back down to, establish that stability again. So my athlete is just moving backwards entirely too much, creating space for the opponent, and that's why he gave up that punch and that headshot. So here are my notes. I'll put backing up too much, and then I'll go back to reviewing more of the video. His hands are wide open. So he might have got hit again with a headshot, but it didn't go up. They're kind of just looking at each other. And then he goes like a little hook. It looked like he might have been waiting for that hook, and I actually challenged that, and I know I didn't get it for the video. So we'll just keep playing here. More down. Let's back up just a little bit. So if you notice, he's kind of just doing the hook, hook, hook. He's trying to hook to the body, hook to the body, hook to the body. And I mean, hooking to the body is okay, but it's just a low percentage scoring technique. So you need to vary up your techniques, right? Not do the same thing all the time. So I'll go back to my notes and put in doing the same kick. You need to have more variance in your kicks. And something else that I noticed is this. I've definitely seen this before in Olympic style fighting, but you see the block that he's using for, he's like putting his hand on his head like this. You might see that in kickboxing a lot. And it looks like it's an established habit. I've only been working with this athlete maybe, a few months at a local Taekwondo school. So he's not fully embedded into the things that we do at the lab, right? But I don't want to give that as an excuse. I still want to review this properly. And I think I've seen him use that block or something similar in other moments during the match when the headshot was coming. And I'm trying to review now to see if I seen that. Maybe at the beginning when that first headshot came. Looks like it might have been there actually. Got hit there. And there he did it again. Look at where his hand is. He did it again right there. So he's not doing the proper head block, and that's why this one in the corner hit because it's just wrapping around his head. See that? That foot literally just wraps around, hits him in the head, and you'll see in the background here that those points went up on the scoreboard. When your hand isn't up how it should be and at an angle, the proper block that we teach in the lab, which you can find in on the program in one of our videos, it's free. If you haven't hit the like button, hit that like button. If you haven't signed up for the lab, it's completely free. All these videos on how to do the proper blocking and everything, it's right on the lab, so you can start teaching your athletes this as soon as tomorrow. He needs more embedding of the proper way to block headshots. So I'll go back to my notes and put in not blocking headshots properly. Let's go back to the video. The score is 7-4 right now. My athlete is losing. He put his head up by his hand again, expecting, kind of anticipating the headshot that's not there. A little bit more reactive than he should be. And that is the end of round one. And I do want to put that there, anticipating headshots, which letting me know that he's too worried about his head and not what else might be coming to the point where he could be giving up other points, so worried about his head not getting hit. And we're gonna move on to round two. Let's do some analysis of round two. That's a good punch by the competitor. Okay, hook back. That's a good follow up. So if you notice right off the bat, I'll tell you some things I told him off to the side is that he was kind of just doing onesie twosie techniques, right? Just trying to hook when he thought that he saw an opening. One round kick. That doesn't work in competition. This is blue belt level, even at the kid stage. But onesie twosie techniques doesn't work. You have to go out there and do more than one thing nowadays. It's high level comp all throughout Taekwondo. It's probably the toughest competition that it's ever been. So you have to make sure you're doing more than one thing. You're following up properly. Right off the bat, you can see that he's doing more than one thing. One of the things I told him off to the side. On that hook again, trying that hook again. The body's open, but like you can hear my students in the background because they train me all the time, so they kind of know what I'm going to say already. Body is wide open, but technique selection, right? Technique selection is important. Your hook kick isn't landing, so you got to do something else to try to hit the body. What about your back leg round kick? What about front leg twist kick? What about switchy stances to where you're in a closed stance so you can hit that body with a sliding oppa or something like that? This might be a good time to note that what I don't like to do is try to tell an athlete to do something that we haven't worked on that's brand new in the middle of sparring. That's not going to work. Okay. So you have to know what you've trained the athlete up to at this point, and then give them things that's going to work based on things that they've already been trained. Don't go in there saying, hey, do this, do that. It'll be best if you do this, do that. Not even if you think they have the ability, because you do what you train, you do what's ingrained, right? And so I stay away from doing things like that. Well, and his cuts are good. You see him following up and doubling up with his current. So he finally did a back leg, good headshot attempt, and then good round kick, right? So good headshot attempt, all good stuff there. That was a good exchange. You saw him doubling up on his cut, right? Again, I told him double up on techniques. And then you saw him finally land, that round kick to the head as a defensive measure. Very good clashing. Good attempt. Good follow. By that fifth again, he actually scored that hook that time. What I'm still not seeing him do is when the space is closed, clench down that space, hold that space until the referee breaks. I don't like to let my athletes break away and create space. I let the referee do that. That way, you're not putting yourself in the potential position to give up space and then actually get hit by something. So I like to let them hold that space. He's still kind of letting this guy run around. Where there are some instances where they're very close, where I would have just siphoned that space away. Right now, you can see my athlete is up by 3, it looks like, and let's continue. So nothing really to say just yet that I haven't said already that he should do. See right there? That's what I mean. You see how they were kind of just in this space, you were trading off some punches. I would have clenched this down immediately. That way, there's no breakage at the referee break, we reset, and then I'm able to start from a safe position. You know what I mean? But then now he finally there, you can see that he actually clinched off, right? Another thing I told him off to the side, clinch off. He finally did it that one time, right? And sometimes that's what it takes for an athlete. If it's their first or second tournament, in this case, it's his second. Things like that happen. You're still waiting for things to click. You're still waiting for things to, transfer to the mat. And finally, he clinched off, and that's exactly what I would have done in that manner. Well, not gonna lie, I was a little bit upset about that, right? Him not clinching properly. It looks like he had his shoulder there, but the problem with that is if you're not applying any forward pressure, that opponent feels like they can lift up their leg. So he did, all right? And if you're not clinching down over that arms, they're able to create space and do that short leg round kick that you saw, and he scored every last one of them. Right? So what? It's like 8 points now. So my athlete is down by 2 points, and I believe it's like the last few seconds of the match. Can I zoom in? Yeah, it allows me to zoom in. It's like 3 seconds left, y'all. It's like 3 seconds left there. And my athlete, just got three round kicks in a row. So it's not looking promising for us, is it? Let's watch the rest. But again, I'm not seeing anything that I should write down that I haven't already said, right? Backing up too much, creating too much space, still doing that one hook kick thing. You are doubling up now, but still trying to fit that hook kick in rather than doing something else. Your guard position, isn't exactly, how I would have it with the arm always across the body, even when kicking, right? So still things that are happening that are reminiscent of the first round, not anything new that I necessarily need to say. And as you can see, crowd goes crazy. My athlete lands that headshot within that last, 3 to 2 seconds left, and we go in the third round. Taekwondo, you win 2 rounds, no third round. If your opponent wins 1 round, you win 1 round, then there will be a third round. So in this case, there's a third round. So, what we'll do is we'll go over to that third round footage, which is here, starting off back at 0-0. Again, my athlete in the blue, and let's see what happens here. You see right off the bat, like, look how his guard even starts, right? I don't even like that. Let's take 2B and play to get position, and we move this out the way. You see how his hand isn't directly over his hogu? Like that's a problem for me. I don't even see proper guard here. So let me actually put proper guard. If I can spell it correctly. Because it's not how it should be. Again, only working with him for a few months, he has that hand down like it should be, but not that arm across the body. That's gonna, stop a lot of those things that are coming forward, right? And I do see athletes that even mind kind of move it there, but why move it when it can start there, right? You're wasting energy by having to move it there when it can start there. There's no harm, no foul by having it there until you get better and develop your own personal style. All right, catch that right off the bat. You see y'all getting go up on the scoreboard. He's kicking more. He's doubling up more. Everything I'm telling him from the chair, right? But you saw how he did that head block again. That's not proper. That's ingrained from whomever he was working with prior to. Like the guy is clearly coming in for a punch, and he's blocking his head right there, and there's no kick in sight. We have to do something about that when we go back to the lab. We have to. And we'll keep going. And also look at the backing up thing again, right? When you clinch off immediately. Like look at where they are in the ring. He's right here. The guy comes in for a punch, and next thing you know, he is all the way back here, like almost on the edge of the ring. Now, good attempt with from the opponent with the crescent kick is what I would have done. At some point, punch crescent once you get that close. But my athlete did pretty good circling around, which is also what I would have done, right? Circle around the crescent kick so you don't get hit by it. You don't necessarily need to put your arm up. And then he clenches off, something that I've been telling him on the side. So great what he's doing now, but look at where he was and where he started. I just would have clenched down over here, right? Don't put yourself in a disadvantageous position by, running yourself all the way back to a point where you're not in the best prime position of the ring or to kick back or to score. Start from here. Good attempt. All right. See that arm still back there, not over his body? Gotta fix that. Good cut. There you go. Good cut. There you go. 6-1 now. Good. See how he's clamping down now? That's how you clamp down. That's the proper way, right? Let's see that again, how he did that clamp, right? Arm past the body. Hopefully he's not interlocking, It doesn't look like he's interlocking because that would be holding at that point. But you see how his arms is past the body and his arms is on, at least one of them is on top position, right? So the guy can't, create that space and fit a leg in. That's the proper way to clamp down. Now you see it in action, right? You see him actually paying attention to that now and doing it. And in doing so, the ref is going to reset, and then he doesn't have to worry about starting from an unsafe position where he could possibly get scored on. The score, I was thinking off talking. You hear me yelling in the background to keep his head up. Don't make it easy for him, right? So you saw how he kind of started with his head down. That's just a sign of fatigue, right? That's nothing necessarily we need to go back to the lab and work on. People do that, right? People get tired and they hunch over, and it's just going to take him, doing more of these as a competitor to keep that body up. Certain things you should do regardless of how tired you are. One, proper guard position with your body up and your head back, right? Second thing should be shuffling. You should be able to move your feet, in and out of the way. Shuffle back to obviously not get hit, and shuffle forward to kind of clinch or blitz a punch or something like that. And then the third thing is cut kick. You should be able to do those things no matter how tired you are, right? So you hear me yelling in the back, keep your head up, because he's already fighting somebody who's taller than him. You're doing him or helping him out by hunching over, keeping your head down to where he doesn't have to lift his leg up that high in order for him to get a headshot. You want him to work on that, work for that headshot, right? So body up, head back is a must do at all times, regardless of how tired you might be. All right, he's still kicking good. All right, clinch off, clinch off. Good. See? Yep, clinched off again. That's what I would have done. Just clinch off. Don't sit there and go back and forth with the punches and just clinch off. Good counter front leg. Watch the wheels going crazy in the background. A few seconds left, and he's just holding that. Few seconds left. I want him to head up even during the break. I want him to be ready for that next thing. And you see that he won the match there. So he ended up winning the match entirely. Lost the first round, won the third round pretty handedly, and it was back and forth. And he won the second round like last second with that hook kick that he landed. So after this, what I do is I come back to my notes here, and I think about drills that I already have created. Again, you can go on the lab right now, right, which is the skill mastery and acquisition course, and you can see all the drills and stuff that I created for issues that you see right here. And if I don't have something there, sometimes I think of something, right? What sort of drill or what can I do in order to get them better at this particular issue that they are experiencing? All of these are things that I already know that I have drills for that you can implement again with your students starting as soon as tomorrow. If you sign up, remember it's free. Taekwondo Lab is free. Hop on there, watch our videos, take the full program embedded in your program, and start realizing your athlete's potential tomorrow. So with the back arm flinging thing, what I would do is I would put him in a mini sparring situation, not free sparring, where all he had to do was block. All you gotta do is block while keeping your arm in the proper position. So I will put blocking drill. And in this case, I'll put with body shots only. Backing up too much. Here I will put managing aggression drill, where you find the clinch position. And all that is I have one athlete just kicking nonstop at you, and you're finding where do we clinch, right? So what happens a lot of times in, Taekwondo classes today, and what the higher ups, Olympic coaches, Olympians don't tell you is that they're not telling their athletes, hey, this is how you shut down or find the clinch, and this is what you're going to do every time. What they do is facilitate discovery, right? I can give you a few things that you can use, but it's going to be dependent upon my body type, the weight category I fight at, so forth and so on. But there's multiple ways to skin a cat, right? And if you facilitate the environment for them to learn those multiple ways rather than you giving them a specific way that may work in one situation and not another, you're actually stifling their growth. So what I do is I create a mini sparring situation. And this is all we do in the lab. We warm up, right? We do a bunch of calisthenics and stuff. We warm up, get our blood flowing, and we do many sparring matches and sometimes full sparring matches, towards the end of practice. Many sparring matches all class long. And all it is me handicapping certain things. Hey, you can only do this, you can only do that, right? I might start them off at the edge. And that's it, they get better at kicking an opponent out of the edge or figuring out how to get off that edge, right? Especially when I tell them, hey, you're on the edge. That's all I need to say. I don't need to say, circle around, find the clinch position. I just say, hey, you're on the edge. And due to the training that we've been doing, they know the various ways that they can utilize in order to get off that edge. Doing the same kick. So from here, I might just put progressive kicking drill. I might put there's a drill that I have where only one kick scores drill. And I will make it for him not the hook kick, right? So hook kick won't score. So find something else to do. They find something else to do and they start embedding that into their habits. Not blocking headshots properly. This kind of goes up top with the blocking drill, but except is body shots only. I'll do blocking drill with headshots only. That way he gets good at that. Just a mini sparring situation when they're moving back and forth, but he knows all that's going to come at him is headshots. And he works on developing that muscle memory of headshots. Anticipating headshots, nothing for this. That's just going to come with him sparring a lot more, not anticipating, waiting for what's coming. And then proper guard position. We're going to work on that while we're doing the blocking drill because I'm going to make sure I'm looking at his guard and I'm going to say proper guard, proper guard, proper guard. And that's how you analyze an athlete. And what I want to do now is go to the dashboard of the Taekwondo Lab, which you can sign up for and come into. It's free. Recently, I posted something called the Athlete Development Spreadsheet. And what I'll do is I'll click on it. And what this is it essentially takes your athletes that are competitive. And in the Taekwondo Lab, we have different training levels, 1 through 4. So what training level are they at currently? In this case, that athlete's on level 1. This is some athlete information. So if I'm doing their registration or whatever case may be, I don't have to look all over the place for it. Here's where I've already, seen their weight and what their cardio and stuff is like, and I change it based on whether it's competitive or not or needs improvement. I've already assessed their skill sets, each individual technique, whether it's consistent, needs improvement, or inconsistent, meaning that's good sometimes and not good others. There's some notes down here on how to use this particular spreadsheet, but all it does is it tracks the improvement of your athlete. So right now, we just wrote down a whole bunch of stuff that the athlete needs to work on. But what it doesn't tell us is the full picture about their attack or scoring ability or their defensive ability, right? So what we want to know is how good an opponent can defend and how good opponent can score, because that's ultimately what happens during these matches, right? Is you're scoring or you're defending getting scored on. So what this spreadsheet, excuse me, does is it tracks an individual athlete, and you can create, multiple athletes down here by just copy and pasting or what is it? I think you right click. What is it called? Duplicating. Duplicating the spreadsheet and then changing out the name on it. And then what you can do is say you watch a tournament and the athlete attacked, during the whole match or during the whole tournament rather, because this is an aggregate of what happened throughout the whole tournament. So the tournament for the quarter, which is 3 months. So this is Q1 ratios, 3 months worth of tournaments. So, and now that would be January through March. So January through March, all the events that we go to, I'm adding up how many times that my athlete attacked versus how many times did any of those attacks score, right? And if you put in the proper numbers here. Let's say you attacked 50 times and you landed 20 of those. It's going to spit out a ratio. And if the number is green, as you see here, that means that that's a good ratio. But what if you put in 10? See how it's yellow now? That means needs improvement. Or what if you only landed 4? Now you're in the red. Right? And it changes automatically. So as a coach, yeah, you need to work on defense. It doesn't even matter if they won, right? Because sometimes you can land very little in a tournament, but the other person didn't land on you at all, so you still won and the score was 2-0 or the score was 3-0, right? So you still need to this spreadsheet allows you to be able to still see where your athlete needs work. Now, it doesn't say what you need to work on. It just says, hey, you're struggling with attacking or your attacking is good, or these are the things that we're going to do, to make your attack even better. And that's where you go back to these notes here, right? That you see here, these notes. And these are the things you're going to do to make their attack and defense better. So they can stop getting scored on so much, or they can start landing things, a lot better. Same thing with defense count, right? So you'll see how many times they defended versus how many times they got scored on, and then it'll spit out a number, right? And if they did, they defended 60 times, but only, defended properly, let's say 50 out of those times, you get a green. If they did 20 out of those times, it's a little yellow. They did 10 out of those times, then it's red, right? So it lets you know that, hey, they need to work on defense. So for these purposes, we're going to go back to our video and let's count how many things landed. And we only go by the scoreboard, right? Not what we think landed. We're going to actually put points up on the scoreboard. Certain things as a coach, when you're doing this, you want to make sure you're not counting as attacks, right? So as you can imagine, I watch these videos a million times per athlete, because right now I'm only trying to see how many times he scored. And that's going to give me a number. Then I'm going to go back and watch this same round, and I'm going to figure out how many times he attacked. Now, during the attack round, when I watch it, what I don't want to do is every time he cuts, I'm going to add that as a attack because is every cut an attack? No, sometimes it's to establish space. Sometimes it's to push the opponent back. There's a multitude of reasons why you can cut kick. So you as a coach has to have to watch this and say, "Hey, that was a valid attacking tool or not." But with scores, you go by what's on the scoreboard. So always what score. So that's a little less ambiguous. Oh yeah, I might make a note to say, don't try to fudge scores to make your athletes look better in your spreadsheets either. You're not doing them a service by doing that. Wish he had gotten that, but we know he did it already. All right, head shot. So that's 3 points for one. Right now, he's only at one attack this whole round. That's scored. We don't count gom jumps either, in case you didn't hear because of the noise. We don't count gom jumps either, so only actual valid techniques that score. That round is over. And so I don't have to remember. I'll go back to my spreadsheet and I'll put in one attack scored. Alrighty. Let's go to round two. And then attack scored here. For the score for this one, that's one. Another one that happened. That's one. Oh, two. They gave him that hit kick. Two. Three. All right, so that round was three. So we'll go here and add that to this. So that's four total now. And remember, at the next tournament, you don't reset these numbers. This is all Q1, so all 3 months, right? January, February, March in my case. And I'm just going to continue to add these totals to see if their defense is getting better, is it staying the same? Is their attack ratio is getting better, is it staying the same? Their scoreability. So that was four so far times he scored in this match. Then we're going to go back to number one. Third round. Way better this round. Looks like he landed a cut, so that's one. Two, fingers cut, three, four, four for that round. So I'm putting four, or in this case, eight, actually. All right, now we go back and we see how many times. Yes, it's a chore. But as a coach, this is what you do, right? You get your athletes better. Like I watch Taekwondo like all day long, right? I'm watching other matches, the Grand Slam, just happened. Team trials just happened in Portland, Oregon, this past weekend for us. So I'm always looking at, Taekwondo fights. This is what I do. So I can definitely stay and look at my own athletes to try to make them better. Even as many times as I need to watch the video in order to um, get the analysis that I need to make them better. So in this case, we're gonna go back to one. This time we'll see how many times he attacked, and I'm gonna try to count aloud. This isn't an exact science, so you don't have to sit there too long. This isn't exact science, so you don't have to sit there too long and determine, was that a kick? Was it not a kick? Was he trying to attack? Was he not trying to attack? Just give your best guess, like in the moment, and then go from there. This round, let's see. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 15 for that round. Before we go to the next one, I'm just put 15 and just add up as I go. So 15 so far. Second round, quite a one, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, punch, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 times that round, 20 plus 15, that's 35. So it's 35 now. All right. See, he went down the yellow. He wasn't green. Now he went down the yellow. All right. That means that he's kicking a lot, but not a whole lot landing. And let's watch his final round. This tournament. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10,
There you go.
11,
There you go.
12, 13, 14, 15, 15 for that. So 5, 10, that's 50. Oh, that's exactly what it was before. All right, so that puts him in the yellow for scoreability or his score ratio. That means we need to work on his scoring. And I have a whole host of drills and games in the attack section and kicking section of sparring skill mastery course, skill acquisition course. So you can pop in there anytime and really plug and play any one of those games or those drills to help them get better at scoring. As this isn't going to tell you specifically what you need to work on, you got to analyze that as a coach, which is what we did first. And this just lets you know that even though he won, he still has some problems scoring, right? So 50 kicks, but only scoring 8 of those, maybe you need to kick less, right? We want you to kick less and score more. We don't want you to kick a whole lot and you're not scoring stuff. That means you're just kicking aimlessly. So how can we increase your scoreability so that when you do kick, you're more likely to land? And that's what this story tells. And for time purposes, I'm not going to go through the defensive portion of this, but you already know how to do it, right? You already know how to do this. Go through the video, see how many times they defended against the technique and how many times a technique landed on them. And then it's going to spit out a number. And if it's green, their defensive ability is good for right now so far. If it's yellow, they need to work on their defensiveness. If it's red, then they really need to work on their defensiveness. And you'll notice as you plug this in, over time, you'll see a fluctuation of greens, yellows, and reds. It might be green after one tournament, but then you go to the next tournament and it's yellow now. Um, and need you to pay attention to that because you might think, okay, because I saw it was green, we didn't work on a whole bunch of defensive stuff this quarter or since the last tournament. And that might be the reason why, their defensive, ratio fell off. But so we need to bring that back. So that lets you know that in classes, you still got to throw some defensive stuff and you can't say, okay, they got it now. You got to maintain those tools, those techniques, right? So you still have to do defensive stuff, even though their defense or even if their attack ratio was good. So just keep that in mind. Remember, if you haven't already, please like that video. If you like what we're putting out, you want to see more stuff, Sign up at the Taekwondo Lab. It's completely free. If you want this spreadsheet, it's on the Taekwondo Lab right now. Completely free. Sign up, download it, take a copy of it, use it for your own athletes. Also ask the lab, leave some comments, questions down in the comment section, or join the lab. Send me your videos. Tell me to look at some of your videos and analyze them for you. Let me see what you're doing, especially if you're using our stuff. Until next time.